one thing you want to watch out for is times and places where you kind of hold yourself back a bit. You don't really express yourself authentically because you're kind of worried that people wouldn't understand you. You know, when you're a conscious or spiritual person, this is really normal. You know, I still deal with this. I still work with this a lot. I work on this a lot. And I see myself just subtly changing myself, changing my language, changing how I'm explaining something, because I don't think the person will get it. A mentor of mine said something really wise to me. She said, always speak to the highest version of someone. Always speak to the highest thing in someone. Always. Commit to that for the rest of your life. And to be honest, that's true. But still, you'll notice some resistance to that. Because you'll get the feeling sometimes that people don't speak your language. Even if you just use the word spiritual, you can sense sometimes that people have ideas about that, or they have a total different perception of the word. And, you know, you live it, so you know what, you use that word so naturally. But for a lot of people, they don't really know what it is. And so, you know, really, I mean, I'll just speak from my experience, man. To protect myself from being misunderstood and judged, I often change the language I use with some people. Now, that's just basic diplomacy sometimes, so that people understand you. But I want you to just notice it in yourself. I want you to notice, look at this, I'm just changing myself a little bit. Because what you want to do is you want to develop like a feeling awareness of any time where you're not really truly yourself. I saw this like less than a week ago. I was with someone I know and like they're not particularly spiritual. You could say they're kind of like, not dense, but just they're not naturally spiritual. And I really noticed myself trying to translate what I was saying, which was spiritual. And I just felt so uncomfortable as I did. I just felt so inauthentic. I was like, oh, this feels a bit weird. Why am I doing this? And, you know, it's normal. It happens sometimes. But it stuck with me. I thought, why was I like that? Why didn't I just speak how I normally speak? And my intuition told me, accept yourself. Accept yourself as this spiritual person. You know, it's just becoming more and more apparent to me that you've got to accept yourself and you've got to lean into it and you've got to be genuine. You've got to be true to yourself, which is very spiritual, very conscious. You know, you probably have more conscious values than most people. You probably have little things like, you know, for example, if I'm with someone, I like to have a slowed down experience. I like to slow down. You know, often when I'm walking with someone, I'll say, can we slow down a little bit? Because I notice if my body's moving fast, like my mind will move fast as well. So I like to just slow it right down, get present with each other. I also value connection. If I'm with someone, a friend, I want to see them. I want to be with them. I want to feel their energy. You know? Another thing that I know I care about is just presence. You know, if I go out to eat with some friends, I know, depending on who they are to be fair, but still, I will, at least for myself, before I eat, I'll just, you know, have like a 5-second window of just, and then I will eat. Because that way you actually are present with your food. That way you're not just scoffing it. It's one of the things you realise, man. You kind of realise, like, man, your whole life you've just eaten fairly unconsciously. And what I mean by that is, like, you haven't really been with your food, you know? When you slow down, you'll notice that, like, you need less food than you think. And there's a lot more going on. You know, texture. Just, you appreciate subtle things. And really, ultimately, it's an energetic thing, isn't it? Because you can feel your energy. And you know that if you're going to do something, especially like a less conscious thing like eating, you want to make sure you're doing it mindfully. And you want to make sure the energy is right. sometimes, like, little things, man, like if I'm eating dinner with my family and like there's loads of washing up and noises of like knives hitting the sink and, bowls and stuff, and I'm like, man, I'm not really settled. Can we, often I ask my family if we're eating all together to just all sit together. Because when there's energy going on elsewhere, it's like that's affecting my experience. And now, you might think, fuck, man, so what? But this is the whole point. When you accept yourself and own yourself as a conscious person, you will healthily vocalize to others around you your values and what's important to you. For me, I like the harmony at the table. Another conscious thing we have is, no technology. We don't use our phones, because we want to be with each other. It was my mum actually who, imposed that rule years ago. Great rule. I recommend it. But, this all starts from accepting yourself as a conscious and spiritual person. It's listening to yourself and it's saying, I hear myself. I hear what's important to me. And now I'm going to make it real. And I'm going to act. And I'm not going to apologize. And I'm going to accept that this is authentic for me. One more example. I want you to notice that as a conscious person, you will probably meditate a lot. And you'll do it pretty much throughout your day, like in various ways, before things, after things. Basically, you'll be constantly taking time for yourself. Now, time is imaginary. So you could say, coming back to yourself, grounding your energy, grounding yourself, getting yourself conscious again. You're doing this all the time because you've got that connection to source or truth or God that is telling you, hey, come back, be here. I used to think when I was younger that like if someone's just meditating in a public place or like they're meditating and no one else is or whatever, stuff like that. I used to think that was just a little bit different. But now, that's the way that I choose to be. Because really what that was, if I'm honest, is I noticed that was a projection of a lack of acceptance of who I am as a spiritual person. Because I wanted to, just meditate more without thinking about how this looks or anything like that. And really, if you want a randomly really deep insight, when you're meditating, notice that like when you close your eyes, the whole physical universe disappears. So like how you look when you meditate, it's actually a projection. You're actually imagining that. Like really think about it. What direct experience do you have of people looking at you? None. You might say, oh, well, when I open my eyes, someone's looking in my direction. Well, okay. What do you make that mean? Notice you're making it up. You don't know. And you can't know. And whatever you think you know, you're imagining it. So drop your mind, drop imagining whatever you're imagining. Realize no one gives a fuck. And just enjoy being your conscious self. Consider that there's room for you to accept yourself as a conscious person. And then just slowly and gradually and authentically make the changes that mean that you are being you, even if that's deeply spiritual and looks weird or different. It's part of your work to accept yourself. Really, you just want to get to the point where you effortlessly accept whatever you are. It could be spirituality, it could be dogs, it could be sunflowers, it could be anything, You could dress like really differently to everyone else, and that could be the thing we're speaking about. We just happen to be speaking about this thing called spirituality, which is, you realizing that truth is important. Anyway, we're gonna call things there, my friend. Good luck with this. Take care, and as always, man, peace.